Hi, AT from CNC at Home. I had gotten a notification from MakerCase, which is a website that I've used a few times before on this channel, where you can go in and make a variety of different kinds of boxes and such by entering your own dimensions to a pattern, and then you get a container or a box the size and shape that you need it to be. This new one is just a real simple hinged lid box, and I wanted to make one. Going through how I might use it, I decided that I wanted to make a box for my little mini-maglite. So I will go get that measured up, and then once I have it measured, go into the MakerCase website and spec that out and download the pattern for it in SVG format, and then load that up into Lightburn, make a few tweaks, burn it out, and then glue the whole thing together. Easy peasy, right? If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let's head over to the table and I will measure this up and then get that into the MakerCase website. Let's get this measured up real quick. So it's about 130 millimeters long, and it's just under 20 millimeters wide. And since it's round, that's all of the measurements I need. So yeah, the trick will be this one. I'd like to get a nice tight fit, but this thing is almost exactly 130, so I'll probably have to go a little bit more. Let's go transfer those into the MakerCase website. Here we are at the MakerCase site. This is their new hinged box. And I'm going to take the measurements for my flashlight and key them in and see what we can get from this. For the width of the box, I'm going to do 20. For the height of the box, I will also do 20. This is all millimeters. And the depth of the box, I will do 135. And it's looking kind of funky at the moment. We'll see how this goes. The lid height, I'm going to make small, so I'm just going to make that 6. And we've got 3 millimeter. Oh, and I want this to be inside dimensions. Oh, there, that looks much better. We'll do fingers, and I'm going to do my fingers smaller. Not letting me slide this for some reason. Don't know what's going on here. One thing I do notice is that here you can see the hinge is down below the bottom of the box. So what I'm going to do is change the parameter here. So the lid height, I'm going to make 7. No, I want that to be 6. Open and close. Okay, that's working. Okay, and oh, now we get to move our finger size. I'm going to take that all the way up to 7 for our finger joint size. So there's just one finger in the front. Same down here. We've got our pivot. That all looks good. So we just review. We've got width 20, height 20, depth 135, lid height of 6. That's this dimension here. And it's on the inside because we've got that set. Pivot diameter is this chunk back here, and okay, it's not down below the box, and that's because we made the height of the lid just a little smaller. Our material is 3 millimeters. We're using fingers. Okay, that looks good. All I need to do is download this as an SVG, and we can throw that into Lightburn. Looking at this, I can tell right off that this is very inefficient. There's a lot of empty space in here. So I'll be able to take one of these lid pieces with the hinge, maybe rotate it 180 degrees, put it down in here. These little pieces I'll be able to fill in somewhere. I also want the grain to run the same direction on my sides and the bottom and the top. So I will rotate these 180 degrees and stick those up here as well. Let's go ahead and we'll just download this as an SVG file and go from there. I've imported the SVG file that I downloaded from MakerCase. And there are a few things that I don't like about it right off. And I'm sure there's a setting in MakerCase for this, and I just missed it. The letters for my description and the part are on the same layer. So it's going to actually cut that out. What I need to do then is, I need to ungroup all of these so that I can work on the individual pieces and separate them into separate layers. So for instance here, hopefully I can get everything. I held my breath. That was kind of tight. Now I ended up getting the part. So I'm just going to do a control click to unselect the part. And I'm going to put those on a tool layer. I'll do the same thing here. I'm going to select from left to right. Oh, and I see I got that in there too. Let's just grab that and throw that on the black layer. All right, so if I select from left to right, only entities that are 100% in my rectangle get selected. I should have done that on the other one. It made this a lot easier. Just get these put on our tool layer. I really do not need these labels within Lightburn. I did like having them as a reference. The left and right arms are symmetrical, as are these little hinge pin pieces. The right and left sides are also symmetrical. The tops and bottoms are not. The bottom is skinnier and the top is wider. Knowing that, I don't need all of that, so I should be able to come over in Lightburn and select my layer and say select all shapes in current section, and I could literally delete those and get rid of them. I do not like the way these are laid out. I think there's a lot of benefit here in, for instance, taking this part, which I'm going to group back together, and I will group this part back together just so the circle for the hinge pin and the part always stay together. I'll do the same for these, just so that the two parts always stay together. I'll move it. I just want to select it. All right. So then what I can do is I can take this, I'm just going to press the period, which will rotate it 90 degrees. And then I will bring it up, something like that. And I can bring that up a little tighter too. I'm just holding the control key so I move a millimeter at a time. Don't want them to touch. We can see I have a little bit of a gap there. So that's going to save a little bit of room. And then in the middle here, there's a lot of room, and I can put these smaller pieces in there. And I can also bring this whole thing down a little bit so that it's closer to these parts. So there's some work I can do. Let me just get to that and show you the end result of what I'm going to burn out. Here's what I've done. These two side pieces I've flipped around so that their finger joints face each other. Because they're sharing an edge, I want to make sure that in my optimization settings that I have remove overlapping lines turned on. That will reduce how frequently it has to cut. So instead of cutting this edge for both parts, it cuts it for one of the parts. And so that should reduce our cut time a little bit. And the same up here for this, because there's a shared edge, that will only get cut once. So it'll only have to cut out this little finger joint part for this top piece, and this long edge can be cut for the side and do the same for both. I've got these set up so that the finger joints are actually shared between the two parts. That'll help reduce the overall burning time for this. And then in this extra space I had between these two side pieces for the top, I was able to put the front and the back piece for the lower part, the front and the back piece for the upper part, and
the two little pins for our hinge pin. And oddly enough, I stuck those round hinge pins right where they're going to end up going. As you can see here, the black line is what's part of this side hinge, and the blue line is then the kind of the hinge pin, and then the red is the internal cutout. I did these as separate layers because I want this rectangle to cut first. So I've made that red, and I put it on the top of my cut list, so that will be the first thing it does. Then blue is this piece, and that will then happen next. And then finally the black pieces will get cut out. These aren't really internal pieces, so it doesn't matter if these get cut first or last. I do have these marked as blue, so those will get cut in the correct order. Normally, you can have that set so that the internal, or what it determines are internal pieces, get cut first. And that's done here in the optimization where cut inner shapes first. And I'm not sure how well that would work over here where there's an internal on an internal. To be safe, I just went ahead and set my own layer for it and made the adjustment over here in my cut list. That's all there is here. This is going to be efficient space-wise compared to the what came out from MakerCase. And let's get this over to the laser and get it burned.
I've taken all the pieces and kind of laid them out how they need to be assembled. This is the lid, and it actually is a wider piece than the bottom. So this is essentially these sides will come up and make the box like so. This will come up, and this is where the flashlight will sit. So I will just kind of set this off to the side for now and bring that back later. These will be one of the last pieces to go in. That holds the little hinge thing in place. Let's see if we can get this put together without too much trouble. Just using basic wood glue, and I have a brush to help get that on there, get it applied. Run this in fast motion if you want to see the whole thing. I'm commenting on this. I will put an extended version out maybe on the second channel, the Check It Out channel. Have a link down below. I'll let this sit for at least 20 minutes for get the glue to dry. I might let it dry a little bit longer than that. We'll see. Once that's all done, then I'll maybe take these pieces out to the sander, the top and the bottom separately, because I have the grain going in the same way on here. Take that out and get that sanded up. The intent is to paint this black so it'll kind of match the flashlight, sort of. All right, well, let's just let this sit, and we'll come back to that once it's dried. Okay, this has been sitting for a while. Let's get some of this tape off and see how we've done. See if this is going to survive or not. Here are our two pieces. So this piece will go on like that, and this box will open. Something like that. And the flashlight will sit in there. It'll fit in there just fine. So let's get this finished up. What's our next step? Probably should get this out to the sander, get this cleaned up just a little bit, and then I'm going to want to paint it. I'm going to try to paint it black to match the flashlight. But these two main pieces look good. We get that all cleaned up and painted. It's interesting. I'm wondering if I should paint these a different color maybe. I do have some silver paint. That would look kind of cool. We'll see. Alright, next step is get this all cleaned up and sanded. After getting these pieces sanded up, I sanded these smaller pieces so that they fit a little bit nicer. And what I decided to do was go ahead and glue the rectangular piece, you can see that there, and glue that inside of the round piece. Then when I'm assembling the rest of this box, there we go, get this in here like so. Anyway, this piece I'll be able to just pop right in there with a little bit of glue in the hole, and hopefully hopefully I don't glue the lid shut. That would be bad. So what I did was, this one's a little bit tighter, so I can get this popped back out. So I took this little rectangular piece and I just ran it back and forth on some sandpaper. It was the thickness of the material was a little bit thicker than what it's supposed to be. And then as far as gluing, this is kind of tricky in that you don't want to get too much glue on stuff. I'll try to just see if I can work some glue down in the hole. I'm going to go take this out into the garage and just spray paint it black. Maybe put a couple coats on it. I'll get both the inside and the outside spray painted. I'm going to let these two little pieces dry, and I'm still thinking painting this silver. I think that'll look kind of slick, so that when this is all put together, it'll be just all black with a little silver dot. And if it doesn't look good, I can always paint black on top of the silver. Anyway, that's how I did these. I'm going to go get this spray painted and do the final assembly. It's time to see if I can get this glued up. I've got these painted black. In the future, I need to make a note to myself not to use the glossy black. It just doesn't turn out as well as I would have hoped. Extra sanding, coats, blah, blah. Anyway, not so good. Top fits on nicely, and we need to put these little extra pieces in with the top in place. That's kind of how that works. So I'll just put a little glue on here, and we'll glue on here. Let's pop those in. Hopefully no glue gets anywhere it's not supposed to. Kind of like the silver on the black. That worked out well. Okay, so there's the box. The way that it's designed, it's fully opening. That turned out really well. And we have the flashlight. Fits in there just fine. This box turned out real nicely. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the content of our channel, think about subscribing, as that really helps us out. Enjoy doing your CNC at home projects. Little Pac-Man.
Oops.